steering is basically gone.
I thought getting out of this bog hole was the end of it. Turns out, it was just the beginning.
This is new. That's to get the cruiser in a straight line. That is horrendous. Car is just, again, completely stuck / bogged.
Same forest, same storm. This place feels alive and he wants to swallow my truck.
I'm stuck here. Hitting trees, left, right and centre here.
No matter what I do, I can't seem to escape.
Oh, full body weight on that right now, look at that. Oh, shit. Definitely not in form.
This is just the beginning.
Oh my god, I've never seen anything like that before.
A situation that will come to define the foreseeable future of this expedition.
Right back into this. Cannot have a freaking day without some disastrous shit happening on this trail. Jesus.
This is the moment you start asking yourself, how bad is this gonna get?
Third. Yes! Hell! Oh, I had a branch just coming through my freaking window there. Oh, shit. My steering's totally gone.
I've just made it out of the most chaotic and insane recovery of my life. 24 hours alone, buried in a forest bog hole, fighting through bottomless mud and one of the worst storms to hit Spain in living memory, in a desperate attempt to save the vehicle and myself from this wild, remote and hostile place that's threatening to swallow us whole.
Completely sunk. Jesus. Worse than ever, man. The car is in mortal danger. I'm gonna lose light again and I'm gonna have a freaking struggle.
Against the odds, after 24 brutal hours, through a combination of different recovery methods, grit, and more than a little bit of luck, I finally managed to drag this stricken beast free.
Oh yes, I'm through! Oh my god! Yes!
I edged the vehicle down to the beautiful, hard gravel path and out of that treacherous, low-lying marshland.
Oh my god!
After 24 brutal hours, I'm finally free.
Yes!
Getting out of this situation felt like a miracle, but it's also a stark reminder of how badly things can go wrong on solo expeditions.
Oh my god, I cannot tell you how this one feels. That was the worst one I've ever been on my own, without a doubt. 24 hours in that marsh. And here we are, out at last. Wow. Oh, bro, I cannot believe this.
Now it's time to pack up all the recovery gear, gather my wits, and find a safe camp spot to spend the night, while celebrating my successful self-recovery. Or so I thought. This is day 86 of living on the road full-time, as I try to circumnavigate the Iberian Peninsula using only 4x4 tracks. Now 3 months in, I can say with confidence that this is one of the most challenging trails I've ever taken on. Fighting for months through some of the most extreme four-wheel drive on the continent, as well as near constant breakdowns and gear failure, thanks to the unrelenting brutality of the terrain that I'm putting this vehicle through. But out here, just when you think the trail has thrown everything it can at you, there's always something else waiting just around the corner. With the sun setting on the horizon fast, I pushed the Land Cruiser through foliage encroaching on either side of an overgrown four-wheel drive track. Gorse and branches scraping along the sides of the camper as I forced the vehicle through. This is still remote country, but I eventually reached an infrastructure service route that had been paved at some point, looking out for a spot open enough to take a breather and check over the vehicle.
This is new, so this is going in a straight line. Oh god, that's to get the cruiser in a straight line. That is horrendous. My god, without a doubt I'm gonna have to do something about the steering on this thing. Like, that's untenable. It's genuinely untenable. In fact, I'm going to really struggle to get to Santiago, I think, at this rate. Alright, so I'm just going to check around the car to make sure everything's good, you know? Yeah, there's something seriously wrong with the steering. Yeah, I forgot that I'm riding inverted again. God, it smells like, I don't know, something bad.
I would now have to use the strap around the tree and reverse method to uninvert these suspension shackles, but my inspection of the car wasn't done there.
Jesus, look at the clods of crap on my prop shaft here. Good God. I had to cut that off like with a knife or something like that. Jesus. Same at the back there, look at that. What a freaking state of that. I tell you what, shout out to Falcon. Falcon Wild Peaks are the tyres you need, honestly. If I'd have had those old ATs on that, during that I would have ripped at least one off, but realistically I would have been ripping them off the bead. Left, right and centre, time after time. Falcon, the way to go, man.
As dusk fell, I pushed on along the track in search of a place to spend the night.
Please be a normal bit. It's not freaking marshland. Holy shit, so that's the sea down there, brother. Wow. God, that's gorgeous.
After the 24 hours that I'd had in the bog hole, all I want to do is find a place to stop and sleep.
Wow. It is beautiful. It really is. And there's a sea over there to the right. Man, I tell you what, it's a very specific feeling getting through something insane like that and then driving afterwards. It's surreal. And oh, there's like a meditative peace to it. I feel just so at peace right now. It's nice.
Night fell, and I pulled over on an abandoned forestry track somewhere in the middle of nowhere, pushing up the pop-top roof of the vehicle and settling in to the place in which I was going to spend the night.
Oh, I'm finally camped up in a different part of the forest on some random abandoned logging route, and I think I've lost four-wheel drive, so you can hear the rain right now. Yeah, let's see if we can actually get out of here tomorrow. Why do I think that I'm not going to be able to? But yeah, tomorrow is another day. Right, so it's the day after the day after. I yesterday tried to get out of here. It was wet and rainy, and the car is just, again, completely stuck / bogged. I just decided to spend another day here. After the whole disaster in the mud pit, I was absolutely knackered anyway, and so yeah, I just spent the entire day here, which was actually really, really nice. I just kind of like chilled out, forgot about the car, did a load of content-y stuff and admin. Now it's the following day. I do need to get out of here. Yeah, trying to figure out the best way of doing that, really. And I think that probably what it's going to be is go down there, which is not the way that I came in, but I could see on my satellite maps about 2k's down. There's a point at which I could probably turn around. Obviously this is like really tight and I'm going to struggle, especially in two-wheel drive, to turn around at all. So we're going to carry on down here, hoping it's not a bad idea, but what can you do? And basically we'll just see what happens. So the other big news that I need to tell you about is that I have to leave the European Union. This has been a problem that's looming on the horizon for quite some time now, and it's finally time for me to do something about it. Basically, because the UK left the EU, I only have 90 days inside of every 180 days to spend inside the EU. If I spend an entire 90 days, I have to leave for 90 days. I thought by now I'd be either at the very bottom of Spain, and so I could cross into Morocco, get some days back on my visa, or be almost finished, to be honest. And then you know that I've had disaster after disaster. I've gotten ill, I've recovered from that, I've had wheels, tyres, mechanical issues out the wazoo. So Yeah, I'm somehow still in the north of Spain. It's just insane. So yeah, I need to leave the car basically. So long story short is that I'm going to try to find a place to garage the cruiser in Santiago de Compostela, the nearest large city, fly out. I'm going to go to Mexico, come back and continue with the trip. So I'm honestly pretty stoked on it. Like, I love Mexico. I have residency there. You know, I've spent a lot of time in Mexico. And so this will provide me an opportunity to have a bit of a rest, fully recoup from the illness, do all the admin and content creation stuff that I need to do to continue. And then I'll come back and tackle Portugal and the rest of it when I come back. So yeah, I'm not unhappy with it by any means, but it does mean I've got a whole load of stuff to do in between now and then to, you know, find a place for the car and all that. Yeah, take each day as it comes, and so I'm gonna plan to leave in about 2 weeks' time. Okay, I've decided to try and reverse. I feel like it's gonna be the better option of all the options we have right now. So yeah, let's see how we go with the reversing of this track. I'll try and get a bit of momentum going.
I've lost four-wheel drive entirely, and this track is saturated. When I drove down here a couple of days ago, I yet again had underestimated just how waterlogged and muddy it was.
Oh man, almost went off the bridge. Yeah, this does not feel like good four-wheel drive. Oh. Try and rip it to the side right now. Man, get immediately stuck here. Yeah, this thing is not in four. Man!
Without four, trying to reverse up here is hopeless.
Okay, so we can't do that. Right, back, so down we go then. Hoping that I don't get stuck further down there.
I'm deep in this remote woodland area, and it's starting to dawn on me that I might well be in another compromising position.
Man, this doesn't look good, but look at this. This looks like a turnaround, potentially. As long as it doesn't get too boggy. Oh, yes, that's good, that's good. Don't want to get stuck down here, because if I... Alright. I think we'll be able to do this. Lightly hitting trees, left, right and centre here. Definitely not in form. Shit, man. Alright. I'm on a right angle right now. Yes! We're back going the right way, right. So we're going to frickin' give it everything. At speed to try and smash up this track. Whoa.
The plan here is nothing but brute force. Without four-wheel drive, I'm going to need momentum and lots of it.
Oh, fuck. I'm through it. Okay, grounded out. Shit, well, at least that got us some way through it and through the worst of that big boggy bit, so the rest of it will have to be done on, oh god, by the winch, but that's okay. Alright, let's get the winch out and winch up this innocuous bloody track.
With the car completely disabled on this uphill muddy track, I would yet again be relying on the winch to get me out of here.
Right back into this. Oh my god, cannot have a freaking day without some disastrous shit happening on this trail, man. I swear to god. Right up.
I reckon I'm between 3 and 4 kilometers deep onto this particular section of the track. My winch rope is 45 meters long. By every metric, this is going to be a brutal slog to drag the immobilized vehicle out of this forestry area in the hopes of arriving at the next nearest gravel path.
Oh, I'm just like going real slow up the track. The bottom of the cruiser is like fully making contact with the embankment, and without four-wheel drive it's just like literally dragging 3 tons right now up the freaking track. God, I had no idea it was going to be this bloody hard to get out.
I'm connecting the winch rope on whatever tree is available up ahead, dragging the vehicle up the 45 metres, and then periodically jumping out to reposition the hook and take on the next 45 metres. Safe to say, this is painstaking work, and leaning this heavily on the winch leaves a lot of scope for things to go wrong.
Alright, so we're almost at the top where I attached the winch cable, so I'm going to leave it there, let a little slack on that cable, try not to allow the cruiser to fall down the track. Yeah, I'll go reposition the rope. So look at that. That's been dragged all the way from down there, you can see. Man. So, push in. Put a bit of slack on that, but I think that's going to be, oh God, that's going to be well hard to release. Fucking hell. I mean, I'm full body weight on that right now, look at that. Oh shit. Oh God, the rope's gotten right knotted. Jesus, there you go. Oh, that's just a bit of it. Freaking hell.
The rope is saturated and thus swollen, making it a nightmare to try and work with.
That is so stuck. Alright, so I've just gone and repositioned the rope with great freaking difficulty again. So now we're going to head up the track again. This is definitely not in four. Oh, there you go, there you go. Nah, lost it again. My God. Not the most benign track as well.
This is an exercise in patience and grit, dragging this stricken 3-ton beast up this muddy trail inch by painstaking inch.
Okay, I think we've got traction. We have got a bit of traction at the minute, so if I can retain that, that'd be great. Alright, let's see if we can get out of here on my own steam. Come on, mate, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Wow, in third. Yes! Yeah, man! Woo! Oh, thank God.
The key now is to keep this momentum up no matter what.
Let's keep this up, keep this momentum going in third. Bloody hell. Oh, I had a branch just coming through my freaking window there. Hate going at these speeds in forest. It just takes one wrong move and you hit a tree basically. Oh, thank God I'm out of there, man. Freaking hell. Oh, here we go, some normal freaking track. It isn't pure Galician mud. Oh. Right. Right, I'm going to go down into there and we'll have a look at all the systems and stuff, I think. There's also a bin, which is sick because I've got way too much rubbish that I'm carrying with me. My steering is gone. My steering is basically gone. Off. dog. I can't steer to the right at all. Oh shit! My steering's totally gone. Oh my god, look. Yeah, I can't fucking get the car to steer to the right. Oh man. Hell. Oh, what freaking fresh hell. Ugh. I think I've damaged some kind of steering component, but I'm not sure exactly what, and God, I'm hoping it's not the steering box, man. I replaced that steering box 3-4 years ago because my old one was knackered with a brand new unit. It was like €1,000 more, 1,200 euros. Oh, and I think it might be that. Oh God. Oh. So basically, I'm inspecting the tyre rod ends, and they all seem absolutely fine. There's nothing that could indicate that there's an issue with turning. You know, so like the only realistic thing that I could think of, maybe you could tell me differently, is steering box damage inside. Would kind of make sense given the fact that I used the winch to pull a vehicle on a 360 out of that track the other day. So let's do a bit of a count up here on damage to the cruiser right now. So I've knackered a brake line. I'm running on 3 calipers rather than 4. I need to bleed my brake system through. I have damaged my front leaf suspension and probably need to replace that realistically. I need to swap around all of my shackles on all suspension points because the anti-inversion shackles were installed the wrong way around. I have knackered 4-wheel drive. I don't know what the problem is. It's either transfer case or hubs. I really hope it's hubs. If it's transfer case, it means the gearbox out. I have no rightward steering, basically. I can't steer right. So it's almost certainly steering box. I mean, that is like a full front end overhaul right there. It's thousands of pounds worth of damage. Man, this is bad. Like, this has gone bad. Okay, so update on the steering situation. I just did a really hard right turn in this kind of like area of scrubland, and something popped underneath the cruiser with a distinctive metallic clang, and I can now turn right. So tell me what you think that is. I'm hoping it was just like a tyre rod end hanging up on another tyre rod end, maybe, because those steering arms underneath are like a bit bent. Check it out. And this tyre rod end has definitely taken some damage on the back. Not that any of it's fatal damage by any means, but it means that I can go right now, which is great news. I still am worried that there's some kind of issue in the steering box there, but I guess we'll get it out as we go. There it is. I just went to turn this hub as like a first step diagnosis of 4-wheel drive, and check it out. So it turns to there, and then that's it. So that's locked right there. I cannot get it to free. So, you know, with a bit of luck, it might be just that hub, that freewheeling hub that's knackered, or the CV inside, which would be, you know, pain in the arse, but fine. Oh man, if I could get away with this without having to drop a transfer case and steering box, I would be pretty happy. I would count that as a win. Alright, so I've finally kind of started to put the pieces of this back together again. I'm in a town. I've just filled it with fuel, filled it with water, like pressure washed the entire car, which feels really good. First time that it's been properly clean, I think, on this entire trip. 4-wheel drive is still out, but I think that if I take that hub apart, that will become apparent pretty quickly. So now I'm at a supermarket, gonna go get some food, and then we can go back off grid again for the next few days without 4-wheel drive. So we'll have to be really careful, but yeah, that's the way that is. I'm now beginning the long road to Santiago, following rough but pretty benign gravel trails as much as possible. This spot up ahead has been on my must-see list since I began this trail. These are meant to be the highest cliffs in continental Europe, so they say. So yeah, I'm gonna have a quick look at this. It's spectacular landscape and super high altitude, given that the sea is right there. Gonna be brutal weather out here, I think, and the cliffs, Yeah, they look high. Oh. Wow. Yeah, well, pretty high. Look how clean the car looks. Absolute little beauty. So this is a hermitage, I think, of some kind. Some kind of religious significance. Whoa! Alright then. Oh, that's pretty badass. Man, that's impressive, dude. Whoa. Yeah, gotta say, that has been worth the trip. That is amazing. It's like being in a plane looking down on that, honestly. God, that's cold. Wow, that's bloody cold. And down there past the cruiser as well. Jeez. Really impressive. Let's see what this thing is. Looks like it might be a glorified cowshed these days. Oh, man, that's friggin' cold. Wow. Wow, yeah, let's check it out. A very old construction. Bloody hell. Yeah, this has been like I think a fireplace at some point. Look at it. It's been some kind of thing. Yeah, probably in there. It's been like a fireplace and it's been a hermitage. But these days, it's just leaky, abandoned, nothing really. Wow. Real old stone dome construction. And to see the thickness of these walls, they're a metre thick or more. Impressive. But I am done with this. I'm absolutely freaking perished. Get me back in the freaking nice one car. Yeah, so this new weather system that's come in the last few days has been pretty awful, to be honest. Just freezing cold, rainy, nasty, generally just bloody horrible, to be honest. I'm looking forward to this passing. It's meant to pass at the end of the week. Kind of like don't expect that. Northern Spain, I guess, plays by its own rules. Spectacular landscape as usual. Wow. Wind farms as far as the eye can see. Man, look at them on the horizon as well.
I'm now heading across high open moorland, en route towards Santiago de Compostela, where I'll garage the car and leave for Mexico.
Wow, so over there is the sea again. So awesome. We've got sunset over there in the distance. Alright, so I managed to survive the journey last night, and I'm now in what appears to be like a gravel pit RV park, basically. In summer, I guess this is full of like big rigs, like big RVs. I'm the only tiny little cruiser here. It's nice because it's got facilities. It's got a coin slot shower and like a toilet. I haven't known one of them for a while. Kind of enjoying that, but I'm going to break into the front axle today. I suspect that it's on this side, the issue. And from what a lot of people are saying on Instagram is that it's likely to be a CV broken in here. I'm heading towards Santiago de Compostela to leave the car so that I can go and get some days back on my visa in Mexico. So I would honestly just leave this until I got back. But if it's going to lock up my steering on the way, I've still got 180 k's or something to do. It could present an actual danger, so I am going to do it now. Yeah, even if I have to, I haven't got a spare CV, but even if I have to take it apart, whip the CV out, and then just drive without a CV, and then get a new CV when I come back, that would be also fine. Alright, let's crack those nuts.
Wish I could wear peace. When faced with a job like this, I always find that thinking about it is worse than the actual doing of it. I find myself procrastinating, but it's always better to just get into it. So I grab my tools and prepared to rip into this axle. I catch myself reaching for it from someone else. Why is it so hard to hold on to? Maybe I'm obsessed with a hurried rush. Whenever I slow down.
So yeah, lost the shroud on my shock. No big deal. Let's have a look at the steering. So yeah, that's definitely bent. You can see that there. In fact, that has a little bend on it as well, but that is just untenable. Could be something to do with my steering. I had that re-straightened already twice, so I'm gonna need to do something else with that. That all feels roughly all right. I think it looks okay. Look at this prop shaft. I actually can hear. So that's engaged. Yeah, so the prop shaft's moving right now with both hubs locked. I can hear definite crunching somewhere, whether it's in the hub or the diff. Yeah, I think that's in the swivel bore. Yeah, so that confirms. Well, it doesn't confirm yet, but it's highly likely to be what we think it is, which is busted CV. So that's good. Of all the things it could be, that's the best one. Alright, so let's get the tang out and taking this all apart. Alright, so we'll crack the face of this locking hub off now and check it out, because yeah, that's lock position and I can't get it past there. Freeze down here. We will take the entire thing apart and remove the broken CV if indeed that is what it is.
I'm gonna trust myself. Oh, I'm gonna love myself.
Okay.
I'm gonna trust.
Wow. Right, it's an exploded asyn locking hub. No way! Could it be that simple? That's insane. No way is it going to be that simple. Dude, can you imagine? See exactly what that is. What is that part of? That's part of, yeah, that's part of the, that is part of that ring, I thought, no? So it's the inside of the hub, look, has blown up. Wow. So that has been a part of there. That's definitely what that is. So that's good news. I've got a spare of these, so yeah, if it was only that, that'd be amazing, honestly.
I continued working, determined to get deeper into this axle, to make absolutely sure there was nothing else deeper inside of here that might be causing another problem with my four-wheel drive system.
Alright, so we'll use the big 57 to get these fatty nuts off. Yeah, this is the last time I'll go anywhere without a spare CV. I used to carry one and I never blew one up, and I kind of thought, well, it's just dead weight because they're heavy bloody things and they take up a lot of space. But now, you know, seeing how vital it is, I won't do that again. Live and learn. And then the final one will also come off. Yeah, well, I don't really care about all these components. These bearings are new, so I would like to keep those relatively free of sand and dirt and shite, so We'll be careful not to drop them. Okay. Oh yeah. Look at that. That's 100% CV busted. Oh, right, okay. I got loads of brass. Brass in the grease, which suggests possibly the spindle. There's like a brass nut on the inside of this spindle, which I assume that is what it is. Okay, ready for it, the moment of truth. We'll give that a knock. Oh yeah, that'll do it. Wow. Oh my God. No way. That's what's left of my CV joint. It's totally sheared. No freaking way, brother. Oh my God, I've never seen anything like that before. I mean, I was expecting it to have exploded, but for it to totally have sheared off, that's bad, mate. Oh, that's also gross. Full of really nasty shit. Wow. I'm just pulling out bits of this shattered CV. Just chunks of steel. The ball bearings. Mate, I can't believe that, eh? Eesh, that's like the inner cage here. Man. Mate. I have never seen anything like that one before. Hopefully, tell you what, that freaking diff does not look good either. The oil in there is mixed with water. Change that oil as well. So that's my half shaft with what remains of the CV on it. Looks like a medieval mace. Oh my God, that's crazy, man. I've never seen one do that before. I've seen them shatter inside, but like still retain their form more or less, but no, this one, absolutely not. Right, I will get a bag for all this crap. That's the brass washer out of my spindle. That is totally knackered. You can see the bend on that. You see that there? So that's what's caused the oil, the grease rather, to be slick with brass. That's absolutely knackered as well. So yeah, the whole thing needs replacing. Oh, what a mess, bro. You know, all in, I'm actually really glad we decided to do this, because I would have been always wondering what was wrong, and now we obviously know. So yeah, pretty bloody pleased about that, honestly. The only bummer is the fact that I didn't pack an extra CV, but it's fine because I can get into Santiago and then figure out like brand new parts for everything. It's time now to put this thing back together again as best we can. It's not gonna be pretty by any means. However, we can put it back to such a degree that it's safe to drive on highways. Obviously no four-wheel drive after this. In the absence of new parts, I'm now going to throw this back together as best I can and just continue my journey without a CV joint. Having seen the state of it inside that swivel ball, I'm now satisfied that all the chunks of that exploded CV are what have been locking up my steering from left to right. Overall, this is an absolute result and the best case scenario, a way better outcome than I initially thought. Okay, lovely. Yeah, this is all going to be redone properly very soon. Sometime before getting stuck in the mud pit and before this most recent mechanical debacle, I'd ripped off a brake line, resulting in the cruiser now running with only 3 calipers. At the time, I'd put out a message on Instagram asking if anybody knew a mechanic or anyone who might be able to help me with this, ideally around the Santiago area.
A fellow Instagram and YouTube creator called Homero with HTM Motoring had responded to my message. Homero told me that if I could make it to his workshop in Santiago, then he'd be able to help me, both with the brake line and with a bunch of other things that are wrong with this vehicle.
Okay, so we made it to the workshop of Homero with HTM Motor.
Yeah.
This is him. And he's gonna help me do all the stuff on this car. Huge thanks to Homero, man.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome.
Appreciate it, man. Okay, so right now we're trying to salvage this joint on the brake line because we need to reuse it, but this is getting replaced with copper. And we will reuse this bad boy as well.
Let's try it. Well, stop leaking.
Holy shit, dude. That's a pretty good test. Right. Listo. Listo, amigo.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're now cutting the copper pipe to length. We cleaned out the fittings, and so yeah, gonna fire it on there and get it up and running again. It's gonna be really nice to have some brakes back again.
Like a little bit more, just in case.
It's a good idea, man. Yeah, that's something I've been guilty of many times and come to regret it. Homero working his magic here.
Yeah, we try to fix this.
Looking real nice.
Brake tube,
Yeah.
and I think we are gonna make it.
Yeah, man, I think so. Looking good.
We're using the flaring tool.
The flaring tool, yeah. We've just been having the debate as to what you call this in both English and Spanish. So I think in English we call it a flaring tool, I think.
I think in Spanish it's abocadora.
Abocadora.
If anyone knows,
Yeah.
let it in the comments.
Let us know in the comments, yeah. Abocadora in Spanish would be mouth maker or mouth
Something like that.
putter. And I'm pretty sure it's not that in English. We're gonna embocador this thing, right? So basically you put the copper pipe in and flare it, and it just flares the mouth out
Yep.
of the pipe.
So we won't escape from the fitting.
Yeah, it creates a nice seal so no brake fluid coming out.
Okay.
Nice, there you go. Okay, so we have a methodology here. So
got it.
seating the fitting in with a big old hammer.
First one. Line up. Let's tighten this up. Yes.
Beauty.
Starting. Yeah. Starting.
I gotta get myself one of those brake line pincher things, you know,
Yes.
to stop the...
It's very useful, huh?
So much, man. Like, I could have saved myself
Yeah.
so much hassle too. Absolute legend, brother.
Ahora yo también.
Ay, fantástico.
Sí, lo tenemos.
Lo tenemos. Okay, so we got the wheel back on, got the brake line all manufactured and made. Homero is a legend. Gracias, amigo.
Para eso estamos.
Okay, so we're now bleeding the brakes through.
How do you feel with the pedal?
It feels good, man. It feels good.
Hold it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got
a little bit more now.
Nice, man. Okay, this is good.
How do you feel?
This is much better.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll see on the road.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
With Roxy, Homero's shop dog, watching on, I backed out of the workshop, ready to follow Homero down to an RV storage place and campsite that he knows of, where I'll be able to leave the cruiser for a few months.
It is bound to get violent when you walk this way.
I didn't imagine that this is how this chapter would end. Storing the truck in Santiago de Compostela, with a mad dash to the airport the following day, being forced to step away from the trail because of visas and timelines not lining up. The last few months on the Iberian Trail have been some of the most intense, exhausting and ridiculous days of my life, but also full of moments that I'll never forget. The places, the people, the lessons, the four-wheel drive, and the moments in between all the chaos. All of this has made this one of the most meaningful chapters of my life. This isn't the end of the road, it's just a pause before the next stretch. And true to form on this expedition, the trail wasn't going to let me off that easily, and had one more surprise to dole out before I garaged the car.
So, funny thing, I'm now walking through the streets of Santiago de Compostela. I'm about to leave for Mexico to reset my visa and all that, you know, with that, all that. So I've just left the car at a camper storage place, having dropped all my stuff at a hotel in the centre of the city. But it wouldn't be this cruiser, would it, if it didn't give me one last jibe before I leave it. So I was driving, it's like, by the way, like past midnight right now. I was driving through the centre of Santiago de Compostela, heard a god almighty crunch and a crash, and the car like jutted to a halt. I was like, what the hell, have I hit something? What is that, you know, like stopped in the middle of the street, there's cars everywhere, and the exhaust had fallen off, and I'd driven over the exhaust. So now my whole muffler, massive long stainless steel muffler, is just flattened because I drove the 3-ton cruiser over it. And then I was driving through Santiago de Compostela without a muffler. Like, it sounded like a freaking tank, like people coming out of the houses to see what was going on. Like, I just looked like a total knobhead.
I left Madrid airport on a transatlantic flight bound directly for Mexico City. My plane touched down just after dawn, cutting through the dome of fog, mist and pollution that surrounds the city, and I was plunged once again into the beating heart of northern Latin America. Horns blaring, the smell of tacos and exhaust fumes in my nose, and the visceral heat and charge of energy of a city holding more than 20 million people. It's loud, chaotic and electric, and it feels good to be back. I'm going to be here for a couple of months at least, and I already know that city life is only going to satisfy me for so long. I start thinking about leaving the city, and I hatch a plan to buy a cheap 4x4 and drive from north to south of Mexico, just as I'd done 10 years ago during my Pan American Highway expedition. What happens next is like the script for the plot of a movie. I leave the city for what's meant to be 5 days to buy a vehicle and drive it back. That was 45 days ago. I'm still out here in deep, wild Mexico, and things are only getting more bizarre by the day. I'm weathering scam after scam, an attempted kidnapping, high-altitude roads cut into the side of mountains that pass through indigenous psychedelic mushroom towns, and now I'm about to be hit by a Category 4 hurricane. Coming next is the Mexico chapter, and it goes completely off the rails.